I started off in my mum's bathroom, just, like taking, £2,000 jackets on a bathroom floor, listing the products on Depop, so reselling them for a profit. I then became the 7th largest seller on Depop in the world. There's evidently a market for this. I should be able to churn it and scale fast. And that led me to then having 5 boutique partnerships within that 3 months. I'm like an insurance broker at this point. I'm literally connecting a supply chain with a consumer. So then we started working with flannels. I pull up to the shutter door of the warehouse, which has been smashed into and absolutely obliterated, to then see Louis Vuitton trainers everywhere with the boxes ripped apart. So I rang the police. I was like, my warehouse has just been burgled. So I'm starting to get really paranoid, thinking my car has a tracker on it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a big warehouse. So then I terminated that lease agreement, moved all the stock the same day, spent over $250,000 on dev costs.
Yo guys, just quickly before we carry on with the rest of the episode, I just want to tell you about our agency, Get Money Social. We help creators, coaches, and consultants not only create and launch, but scale their online products. If you're interested in finding out how me, H, and the rest of our team can help you scale your online offer, just click the first link in the description and we'll speak to you soon. I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Peace.
Let's fucking get cooking, boys.
Jack, my brother, how are we?
Before we kick off, innit?
Stretching.
Get loose.
Yeah. Get in the flow, innit? You know what I mean?
Aviv, we good to go, brother?
Everything's on, yeah.
We are on?
Come on.
Vamos.
Vamos.
Welcome to the Gooms podcast, brother.
Thank you for inviting me to go again.
Thank you for having us, bro.
We won't do this again and again, but that was awful. I was like, blah, 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 blah.
Welcome to the Gooms podcast, brother.
Thanks so much, boys, for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you for sorting this out.
Oh, no, it's cool. Cool.
Well, everybody's already seen, obviously, around your office and everything. We're up in Manchester, and Jack's put us up in this lovely, lovely restaurant. So thank you as well, brother.
It's cool, brother. Anytime.
But yeah, let's get cooking, bro. I mean, tell the people who don't already know who you are a little bit about who you are, what you do.
So my name's Jack. I've been an entrepreneur now for 4 to 5 years. I've always been passionate about building something amazing with a great team, and it's always been in the luxury goods market. So it started off by just me reselling out of my mum's bathroom. And I know you're going to be thinking, what do you mean bathroom?
Yeah, why bathroom,
Let me
bro?
explain. So what I used to do, right, is I'd buy stock from outlets, and then I'd take photos of these items on my mum's bathroom floor. So everybody used to say, oh, I swear this guy's taking photos in his mum's bathroom, when I first started the Instagram page. And then from there, just started expanding the different suppliers I was working with back then. And then it led to.
But wait, you didn't explain why the bathroom?
So because in the house,
because it was clean,
there was nowhere else to take content of the items. And my mum had this really nice bathroom floor, and I was thinking, like, I can't really afford to buy a rug off Amazon just yet. I'm going to start using the bathroom.
Makes sense.
Just to get that aesthetic on the content.
Clean kind of like, yeah.
Sometimes you have to get creative, bro.
Yeah, so I started off in my mum's bathroom, just, like taking £2,000 jackets on a bathroom floor and listing the products on Depop, so reselling them for a profit. Back then, when I was buying from this outlet, how I was buying products so cheap was because a lot of the time with these high-end luxury designer brands, they would not accept returns directly back from the commercial retailers. They were liable for pretty much all the returns that were coming back from customers for faulty items. There was known as like an 817 code product. What would happen with this specific retailer I was buying from at the time is that they then put it in an outlet whenever there was a fault with the good. I would then buy it for like 90 to 95% off the retail price and then resell it for a significant profit. So I remember the first time I went into this outlet, I bought 7 CP hoodies and they was £30 each. You remember the ones with the goggles on the hoodie?
Mm-hmm. So £30 each for one of them is a steal, bro.
Back then the retail price was $275. So straight away I knew
that's insane.
Like, there is money to be made in this outlet. And how I even found out about it, right, is God's plan, was because there was people at the time in school, sixth form, saying, oh, yo, I've started to see that this outlet that was selling football shirts is now starting to get in a lot of like high-end luxury. And I've been thinking, nah, there's no way you can buy like a Moncler jacket for £50. Led the curiosity. I turned up and I took the action, and I then became the 7th largest seller on Depop in the world.
Mad.
By, within 12 months.
Out your mum's bathroom.
Out my mum's bathroom. Yeah.
That is insane, bro.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you, brother. So and then also Instagram back then, you had Yellow, who was smacking out like the luxury personal branding. You know Yellow?
No.
One Yellow, he always used to do like really, really cold, like luxury goods market. And he owned a company called Undivided, right? And I'd always looked at the way that Yellow marketed back then. And the reason he got so much traction was because it was lifestyle blended with luxury goods. And he built like Yellow, the brand now with the Y. You must have seen it.
Oh,
You know Yellow?
the hat, like they do the hats and
bro,
stuff, and
like,
it's just the Y as the logo.
Fredo was wearing it.
Yeah,
H was wearing
Rusky
it.
got an association with them as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not-
DJ
I know
Rusky,
exactly
I
who
swear
you're talking
Rusky always posts their shit.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're on about. Now the caps, yeah.
So he before he got into Yellow, he owned a company called Undivided, but he was one of the only luxury personal shoppers on Instagram at the time.
Right.
Like bridging the gap for customers to get access to these exclusive goods. You got to think, guys, if you wanted a product that was out of stock, a Louis Vuitton, 2054 windbreaker, you can't buy that anymore. So personal shoppers, not only do they get access to these dead stock products, alongside that, you're also saving the customer money every time they shop if the item is in stock. So it's, like people want that convenience now. They don't want to have to go out into a retail store. And that's why people come to personal shoppers like ourselves.
Yeah.
And then obviously as I was growing the Depop, I was also like trying to tap into the Instagram game. Like uploading the same photos of the stock that I was uploading on Depop into the Instagram profile. Back then TikTok wasn't a thing. And what then happened was I was getting a lot of traction. People were thinking, we've never seen a reseller in this area offer the prices that this guy is selling these goods at. And this outlet still wasn't public. It wasn't really out there. So then I thought, right, well, there's evidently a market for this. Everybody around me is wearing designer clothes. And if I can offer these goods at a fraction of the retail price, I should be able to churn it and just keep reinvesting and scale fast. And then people were asking me, well, can you source this item? Obviously, at the time, I only had the stock in my mum's house, that I was storing in my bedroom. And that was a limiting factor because if somebody said, can you get this pair of Louis Vuitton trainers? Back then, I didn't have the supply chain to be able to outreach to a supplier and say, I've just had this customer who's requested this pair of size 7 trainers. What's your B2B cost price on that? Get back to the client. And now we work on that structure. We take the payment up front from the client and then send the money to the supplier afterwards. Back then, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So could you imagine the amount of cash that wasn't being collected, that was sat on the table for customers who were asking me to get these items, but I just couldn't facilitate it. So that's kind of that was kind of like the point where I got a little bit stagnant in my journey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about a stage of like being stagnant and not really growing. But I mean, my next question to you was going to be, when do you, in your business journey, start to be like, right, okay, I've got something here, and start to actually make money where you're like, okay, this is working?
I think, do you know what it is? When somebody first sets up their first business, you learn a lot of skills that you never previously acquired. And that can be negotiation, that can be sales, that can be simple things like outreach.
Well, it's bro, when you start your business, bro, you do everything.
Yeah,
you're doing marketing, you're doing sales, you're doing
a 360 version of yourself that you never knew you had.
Yeah.
And just because you took that action, you're exposed to these different skill sets. And I think because I opened up myself to these realm of skills, that then also led me into distraction, because I also then tried to set up a car rental company. I also then went into like a drop shipping store. I remember setting up an e-com store called The Portable Pump. And I remember building the website myself, spent a month on learning Shopify, and guess what? Tried to run Facebook ads on it, didn't get a single conversion. And I was thinking, like, I'm reselling at the time. This is making me probably about 1 to 2K a month from reselling, 16, 17 years old. Why on earth am I trying to diversify against what I know works?
Yeah.
So I think rule number 1 is, once you find something that works, 10x, double down on it, and keep experimenting in order for you to take it to that next step. So for me, in my instance, is once I failed the portable pump, right, I'm then thinking, rather than let me sit on all this cash that's not being collected from these clients who are looking for me to source these luxury goods, what did I do? I went onto farfetch.com. I went onto our partners at the bottom of the website, and not many people know this, but Farfetch actually disclose every single partner that they work with. Farfetch have an ecosystem where they don't hold any inventory. They're syncing in product from their suppliers, and every single time they sell a product on behalf of one of their suppliers, aka a brand like Burberry, they're getting a 20% affiliate commission. Now, they disclosed every single one of their boutiques they had partnerships with. So I'm thinking, as a young Jack, I need more suppliers. I need to offer my customers more. And what I'd do is I'd email these boutiques from the email morleyclothing@gmail.com, right? And I'd say in the opening email, I'm spending 250 grand a month on luxury designer clothes in the UK at the moment. I'm looking to expand my supply chain. Bro, I was spending 5k a month. I was never spending $250,000 a month. It's the fact they think you're a big dog, and it opens up the conversation because they can see he's already spending, let's entertain it. And that led me to then having 5 boutique partnerships within that 3 months. I didn't stop emailing them, bro. I was like an SDR on the phone, dialing. That was me on email to these boutiques just to land one partnership. And then once I got that through the door, I was then uploading their stock onto Instagram stories as like collages. So I don't know if you've seen it when like a personal shopper has like 6 Monclers all in a collage, and they've got like size small, size medium, large. I was listing all their stock that they were giving me at like a 50% discount. I was charging like 20% off, but on a £1,000 item. So then when I'm taking the money this time from clients, I'm not having to monitor inventory anymore, because what I'm doing is I'm like an insurance broker at this point. I'm literally connecting a supply chain with a consumer and sitting in between the sale. So I'm taking my profit in between after my customers paid me at this point. And then I'm thinking, whoa.
It's the Uber model.
Literally took reselling to a different level.
So I was
it's
thinking,
genius,
like,
bro. It is.
Shit. I was like, yo, I've been spending a lot of money on stock and trying to turn it over. And that was a proven model. I still continue to keep reselling.
It's high risk though, it's not leveraged.
It was high risk. And you've got to think, right? You could invest, let's say this glass of water is 100 pairs of ASICS trainers, right? And let's say the deal costs you £1,000, yeah? Let me ask you a question. If you was going to get a 30% return on this, but it would take you 12 weeks to sell the deal, compared to deal B, which you can spend, say you're getting 30% return on deal A, and deal B, you're getting a 10% return, but you're doing it in 2 weeks. What deal are you going to choose? You're going to choose deal B.
Well, yeah, because you can do 6 of them.
Exactly.
In the 12 weeks.
Effect.
Yeah.
So back then I was thinking, right, well, don't always aim for high margin. Aim to turn over the stock as fast as you can. And that then led me getting a warehouse in Shirebrook, which is near Nottingham. That then also opened up the door because I had much more cash to play with at this point. It also led me to understanding economics. Like, the more you spend with the supplier, the better discount you're going to get, right? So then we started working with flannels on liquidation deals. So to get a flannels like VIP account, you need to meet a minimum spend of like 20k every 6 months in order to get like a 20 to 30% discount.
I would have thought that would have been lower, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, higher.
Yeah, no, it's
20k in 6 months. I mean, for somebody that's got it, 20k every 6 months on shopping isn't that big of a deal.
What comes with this?
And that's like that will then get you like a 20% VIP discount. So what they'll usually do is they'll give it footballers, and they'll also give it personal shoppers, because obviously they want as much, you know, like B2B sales.
They do
as
something
possibly
similar
can.
at Harvey Nichols as well, don't they?
Yeah, like VIP discounts and stuff. Yeah, but back then I was like, I can't scale on working on such a small margin. But what I can do is inquire further to understand how I can get access to these like liquidation lines. So I remember we bought a deal. It was 600 pairs of Louboutins, and we paid on average per SKU £32 a unit. On the Louboutins Hills, the average retail price was like £550, £600.
You paid 30 quid a pop.
30 quid a pop. We did another deal as well, right, where we got about 1,000 lines of Stone Island. It was predominantly kids. We paid £12 per unit on like Stone Island jumpers, t-shirts.
Absolutely baffles me about that, bro. The fact that you can get it for 32 quid and Louboutin are still walking away with a profit.
I know.
And they're selling it out of a Selfridges store for 500, 600, 700.
Well,
for me is just insane.
Let me explain how it works. So the thing is, right, how it works with these liquidation lines is, let's look at Harvey Nichols, right? Imagine Harvey Nichols have 1,000 units of one SKU. So what I mean by that is, imagine it's a Moncler Maya jacket, right? They've ordered 1,000 of this one particular jacket, and they've forecasted based on historical data that they're going to turn over X amount of these once they've submitted the order with Moncler as a brand. Now, if they don't meet that forecast of sales, they are then going to look at the space that they're using in their warehouse and then think, right, well, we anticipated to sell the majority of these. We haven't sold them, and the space could be used for better, faster selling SKUs. So what then happens is they'll come to a point, let's say, as we're coming into winter, fall 2025 now, they'll be looking at lines from summer and thinking, this is taking way too much space. We've got way too much inventory of that particular SKU. We need to find a wholesale buyer to free up that room so that we can get full winter 25 stock in, because we know it's going to churn faster. So for them, it's all a game of logistics. For them, it's all a game of like inventory management, because that is their cash flow leverage. So for us, you know, it wasn't like we was having these huge credit terms with these retailers, like, you know, companies like Harvey Nicks do. They can get a deal off fucking Burberry and not pay them back for 6 months. For us, we had to go cash up front every time, which meant we could build that relationship, because they knew if they needed to get rid of the shit SKUs at a 95% discount strike,
they're ready to pay.
They know we're here. So then we obviously got the warehouse. We were scaling up on all of this liquidation stock, which then led us to the curiosity of thinking, right, well, we must be able to tap into a market where there's other businesses who are going to want to buy this stock. And you know what's so crazy, guys, yeah? Louisa Viroma, Harvey Nichols, Flannels, Selfridges, Mr. Porter, Net-a-Porter, Mason de Fashion, all of these huge multinational like retailers, right? 60% of their supply chains are contributed to B2B. Only 40 to 50% of their turnover comes from B2C. Like, and that then made me think, like, when you look at clothing brands, right? And you look at the most successful clothing brands in the world. Ralph Lauren back in the day. You remember you'd feel like a bit of a G if you wore Ralph Lauren back in the day. Yeah?
Take a trip down to Bicester and come back like a baller.
You'd be coming back and you'd be thinking, yo, I've got my Ralphie sweater on, like I'm a bit of a G. I remember, bro. Like,
the polos.
Yeah, bro. Anyone who was wearing Ralph Lauren back in school when you was like 11, 12, bro, they were the dogs.
Yeah.
But if you look at how Ralph Lauren scaled so fastly, it's because they tapped into House of Fraser. They then went into Flannels. They then went into Selfridges. They then started selling to all these other franchises and concessions. And if they'd have only stayed direct to consumer and not opened up B2B, they'd have never scaled as fast as they did.
Because it's brand awareness as well,
I do
isn't
think
it?
the times have changed a little bit, though, now with the way that brands market on social media. Like, listen, I'm no expert in brand, but I understand a fair amount, I think. Like, I look into it and I find brand really, really interesting. And I think in today's day and age, with people not wanting to wear the brand that everybody else is wearing, such as Ralph Lauren now, maybe that wouldn't work, because you look at a brand like Represent, like being from somewhere like Manny now, well, being in somewhere like Manny. Represent, yes, they're in all these major retailers now, but before, it was an inclusive brand and everybody bought into the owners club, and if I owned that item, like, I felt part of something special, and not everybody had it. Like, me personally, I don't dislike the brand now, but I've gone off it a bit more because everybody's wearing it. Yeah, it's so saturated, it's so regularly available, everybody knows about it, which is kind of like the direction that brand is going in. Like, no one our age wears Ralph Lauren as much now, or even the younger kids. Because it's so regularly available, and obviously fashion changes, etc.
People want a bit of exclusivity, I think. Like, you want to stand out. Like, before we started rolling, I don't want to at you, but I said something about your watch, and you're like, that's it, I'm getting rid of it tomorrow. Straight away, though. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you, like, well, I don't want to have what everyone else has. Fuck that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Listen, I like it, bro.
No, I love it. I think it's I think it's great, bro. I'm not dogging you out. But listen, I think so far in this pod, you've spoken a lot about growth and how you kind of leveled up. You mentioned something to us off camera beforehand, and you've mentioned it a couple of times already about the warehouse. In business, as you know, there's always going to be setbacks. Everything that people see online and everything that people share online, more often than not, is all the wins. And 90% of the time, it's the opposite. You know, like, as a business owner, you get paid to get kicked in the dick for life. Do you know what I mean? That's what we signed up for. Can you share a little bit about, obviously, what happened with the warehouse, and not only how you dealt with it, but how you bounced back and became better from it?
For sure. So, let's imagine I'm driving through the barrier. I pull up to the shutter door of the warehouse, which has been smashed into and absolutely obliterated, to then see Louis Vuitton trainers everywhere with the boxes ripped apart. I'm thinking, oh Lord, right, what's going on here? I'm then thinking to myself, you know what? I know that in that corner down there is where all the most expensive stock is. So I'm trying to like peep through this shutter door, like low key looking through, thinking, right, has that been really attacked? Because I don't mind if the fucking 200 Rab jackets I don't mind if they've been stolen. They fucking have them. And I then think, right, shit, that's all the good stock gone. I walked into the warehouse. I remember being in the gym 2 minutes before, right? And I remember getting an alert on my phone because I had all the CCTV, I had all the alarms fitted, like the high spec ones you could get. I have obviously spun it from the gym as fast as I can, thinking, shit, I need to get there now. But yeah, it was too late. And then, God's honest truth, like, I walked in there and I didn't actually care that much. I just thought, like, wow, I cannot change this now. It's happened. I can dwell on it, but equally at the same time, that is not going to resolve the situation. So I've walked in there, had a walk around, and I'm thinking, right, well, what would my mum tell me to? She'd say, ring the police. So I rang the police. I was like, my warehouse has just been burgled. I'm then low-key trying to financially work out how much I've lost, which is completely ludicrous in that context.
How much did you lose?
About 600k. Yeah, about 600k. But then I remember ringing the boys, my old business partner. I remember ringing like Jay, Brad, some of the boys who used to work for me back then. And I'm like, boys, just come down to the warehouse. We've got a little bit of a problem.
Just a little one.
Yeah, just a little bit of a problem.
Don't worry, boys.
We have a 600 grand problem right
Yeah.
now.
No massive rush, but just get here when you can.
Just get here in it, like pop down in it, poke your head through. And then I remember us basically sleeping in the office, because where it was structured, you'd have the office and then we had the warehouse just outside the office. So I remember us like literally sleeping in the office all that night, and we was reconciling all of our invoices. So like saying like what stock was in there against Shopify, what the invoice was against this like sheets tracker we'd built that evening. Like it was just a mess for all the back end work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like thankfully we got a little bit back from insurance at the cost price. And then how I then sort of took my approach afterwards was like, look, I don't actually need this stock. Like I've been doing it completely wrong. And then I had a reflection on like our finances at the time, and I was like, yeah, I was doing about 250k a month from B2B. Not profit, just turnover, and like a 30% margin, right? Which is great, like 50 to 75k a month. And then I was thinking, right, well, there's other routes we could take where we could leverage the suppliers we was buying from, but equally at the same time, not had to put our upfront capital into the stock.
And hold it.
Yeah. I was thinking like, and realistically, like the 4 doors in this warehouse, if I want to make $1 million a month, realistically, I'm going to have to get a larger logistics infrastructure. I'm going to have to get a larger warehouse. I'm going to have to have much higher buying power and much more capital to even fund these future deals. So I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a bigger warehouse. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go even harder, which is very controversial. I was in like 2 mindsets. I was thinking, right, well, I don't need the stock because like I can find a different solution, but equally at the same time, any other entrepreneur would want to bounce back twice as hard.
Fuck yeah.
So then I then like started looking at warehouses in Manchester. Obviously I was in Sheffield near my mum's at the time. I found this warehouse that was double the size, and then got the warehouse, started moving all the stock there. You never guess what happened a week in. No one even knows about this. The neighbours to the warehouse that I acquired, their door got smashed into. So I'm starting to get really paranoid, thinking my car has a tracker on it. There's no way that my car's been bugged and like these guys are following me.
Yeah.
So then I'm like being super paranoid, getting my car checked. I'm thinking, boys, get all your cars checked. Don't know if it was coincidence. Don't know if it was the same people. Moved on in life now, so it's fine. But yeah, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm terminating this lease agreement. I'm not. This was God telling me that your initial thought when you told yourself that you didn't need the inventory and you needed to find a different solution, your thought was right. And this is God telling me that I'm making the right decision. So then I terminated that lease agreement, got 4 yellow storage units, right, in central Manchester, moved all the stock the same day. That warehouse next door to us got robbed, moved everything into 4 yellow storage units. And then I remember we went on liquidation mode, started literally selling every last unit like fucking hotcakes. And then, which led me into, like scraping solutions and marketplace solutions. So, how it works now is that because we don't necessarily buy and sell, we don't need these wholesalers as much. We just simply connect their inventory to our ecosystem and sell it on behalf of them.
Leverage your brand
against
their inventory.
Yeah.
So genius, bro.
So like whilst we was going through that transition phase, we obviously knew there was a lot of dev cost associated with it. Spent over $250,000 on dev costs. Like we just went through a stage where it was like, yeah, you know what? Let's reinvest like what we've got left out of the liquidation stock into like developing the solution. And let's start by scraping data and mirroring inventory from a partner that we work with. So we set that up, saw success with it, and we was like, you know what? Like we're making the same amount of money without even needing the inventory, which then led me on to also now building our sellers portal. So we have an AI search engine where you type in a product. Any reseller can use this if we have obviously vetted them and put them through our partnerships SOP. And we literally get them to either connect the Shopify account, we push the stock through like an AI rationalizer where it like checks against our database to make sure like the image is correct, the thumbnail's right for when it appears on our front end, so it's all consistent for a front end UX UI perspective on our Shopify. The description's re-scripted with AI to support with SEO. We even have like category mapping that connects automatically. So if you've got a pair of Asics that you're looking to sell, right, as a reseller, you upload them, it automatically feeds into the relevant categories on Shopify. Like there's no manual review.
Guys, by the way, we've seen this full operation, and I don't think we started filming when you were showing us through the whole thing. And even if we were, I don't know if it's right to show it anyway, but the whole team, the setup, it's the real fucking deal, man.
Thank you,
like
bro.
genuinely, me and H, we walked in and it was like, yo, we'll go on. And then it's like, right, let me show you. And we were a bit like, yo,
yes sir,
it's dope, bro.
Thank you, brother.
And like genuinely, like this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about, and the reason he sounds like it is because he knows what he's talking about.
Yes sir.
And it comes from reps, and it comes from failures, and it comes from lessons.
Yeah,
that's entrepreneurship.
For sure, man.
That's what it's fucking about.
For sure. And I was saying to the boys off cam, like, for you guys, I studied with Karis, who's now in her ops role. Like, we studied the CEO of Farfetch for like a year. Like, we even built a full SWOT analysis on Farfetch to understand.
You built a what?
SWOT analysis.
What's that?
So, like, the strengths of their infrastructure, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So, and that was purely down to like what they built on a front end perspective. So like, what brands were excluded from their site that we knew we could tackle, and what we could make our USP. Obviously for us, we wanted to target, like unique streetwear pieces, like, sold out Louis Vuitton, sold out Dior products that no one else on the market's got. If you look at, let's say, Farfetch, Flannel, Selfridges, all of these like common retailers, a lot of them nowadays all sell the same brands and the same products. Obviously we wanted to hit the angle of, you come to Morley Trends and you buy a sold out Chrome Hearts piece that's not been in the market for 2 to 3 years. Or like a Birkin bag where, like this Birkin is so rare and you couldn't buy it on a website, but you can buy it or inquire with Morley Trends, And most people are a little bit deceived around like kind of how you can make money as a personal shopper as well. Like there's different ways of doing it, right? You've got traditional reselling where you simply do it how I started, where you have a jacket for £50, you resell it for £100. You've doubled your money and you've resold an item. High risk, of course, because you're deploying your own capital. There's no guarantee of turning it over,
cash, inventory.
Exactly. Yeah. The second option, which is like where there's quite a lot of popularity at the moment in the market, is where personal shoppers will work on a commission framework. So let's say, for example, you have a client, they've said they want a pair of Louis Vuitton skates. Say the retail on these skates is £1,000. They will charge a 10% commission to procure, style, and fulfill that product. So you're basically paying a 10% commission fee for a personal shopper to style it with an outfit, like arrange going into the boutique to collect them for you. And obviously, like, people don't mind paying that 10% commission because if it's in your local town, right, and you've not got time to pop in store and you need it the same day or the day after, like a lot of the time Louis Vuitton don't fulfill anyway for 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that USP.
It's also like an experience as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like you've got that one-to-one relationship with your personal shopper. They're just putting a small commission on the retail price to then go and get that item. The next method is the like sourcing strategy, which is very similar to the commission basis model, where let's say there's a product in the market with a supplier. Let's say it's a Moncler Maya. This supplier has it listed for £800. The retail price is £1,240. You would then market that jacket as if it's like an outreach approach rather than it being inbound. So you put a story on of that product. You'd send it out on WhatsApp broadcasts. You put it on your Snapchat story, and you'd list it for
Moncler at me.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, that sort of vibe. So you'd list it for, let's say, $9.99, right?
Yeah.
And
there's
when
your
you
margin.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you have someone nibble, you can then broker that deal, take the payment up front from the client. Once you've took that payment, you're going to then send it to the supplier. Exactly, yeah. So you've kept that in between. And that's where we saw a lot of success. That's what we do day in, day out now. So yesterday we sold a Birkin 25, made like 3K on it. Like that was a 30 grand sale. And that was on that same structure, like payment up front from the client, met at the boutique, gave it to the client. That was Lauren who fulfilled that, who's leading our personal shopping team at the moment. But again, it's like, for us, that model works really, really well now. And, people starting out, you've also got the advantage now of these third-party marketplaces. Like Depop back then was banging. Like Vinted is a great platform to sell on now if you are getting into reselling. Same again with eBay, even Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Like all of these marketplaces can be a tool of client acquisition. For us guys running ads, right, We would look at YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. By putting ad spend into these platforms, we generate clients. Resellers can simply list on these platforms, and that will be a source of traffic for them.
Well, their ad spend is the commissions that they spend effectively on their sales, right?
I mean, it's effectively like Google Ads. It's intent-based search, right?
Yeah,
On these platforms, people are searching for the Montclair piece that they want, or the LV trainers, whatever, and they're searching on Vinted and Depop.
Exactly. And do you know what? Like, pre-loved fashion was also a big winner for us. Like, and for anybody watching this podcast now who's, you know, working full-time, wants a side hustle, I can break down step by step now how you can make 2, 3, 4, 5K a month easily, right? Let me ask you guys, have you got any designer in your wardrobe right now?
Bro, I made like 2-3K from all the fucking designer that I had from time ago.
Right, cool.
Literally.
You got designer in your wardrobe?
A little bit.
And is there any designer pieces that you probably only wear once every 2 to 3 months?
To be the only designer piece that I actually wear, like, it's like branded anymore, is my Goosey in the winter, because it's the best jacket in the world.
I can second. To be honest, the one with the normal Canada Goose logo, I wouldn't even wear that now.
Yeah. But you've got it in your wardrobe?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. So, imagine, let's say, in this case study now, you've got that Canada Goose jacket in your wardrobe.
Spill the sauce, bro.
You was looking to pretty much sell it because you wanted some extra cash to go on holiday, right? The average normal person would use eBay, they'd use Depop, they'd use Vinted just to list and sell the item, right? What I would do back in the day is I would go to people like UH who had that item in the wardrobe, and you would list it for £400 thinking that was the market value, right? Little does H know, he doesn't actually know what that Canada Goose is worth, right? But me, on the other hand, I'm selling these every single day like hotcakes. So what I'd then do is I'd reach out to H and I'd be like, bro, what's the very best price you can do on this Canada Goose if I pay now? You're looking for a quick sale. You just want to get your money out on it so you can take your missus out on the weekend, or, you know, pay for the holiday to Greece. So then you'd be like, oh, bro, the best I can do is 300. You've got it listed for 400, right? I'd be like, you know what? I can do 200. Like, I'm ready to pay now. Let's get the deal over the line. Go and buy your next jacket. Do whatever you want with the money. You'd be like, oh, I need a little bit of time to think about it. So I'd just be like, you know what? No problem, bro. Just let me know, you know, if you want to sell it for what I've asked for. You know, like, reach out to me if you want
Jack, bro,
to sell.
just be conscious of the mic for me, because I want everyone to be able to hear your source.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'd then have like a Google Sheets tracker where I would write down the username of the person. I'd have the item name, and then I'd also have a status that said yes or no for follow-up. And then what I'd then do is I'd reach out to you 24 hours later. I'd be like, hey, you've still got the jacket for sale. You just want the sale now. Like, let's get the deal done. I'd then swipe it for £200, get it to my mum's house. If it needed a clean, I'd take it to the dry cleaners. Bathroom floor, yeah, exactly. Aesthetics come in. I'd then take a much higher quality photo of this jacket, put my business card in there, and make it look 10 times better than you did on your Depop. And guess what? I'd sell it for £500. I'd sell it for more than you even listed it for. Straight away, I've doubled my money. Now, for those who are watching this, the highest sort of resistance path that you're going to have to be able to start doing this method is authenticating the products. So what I'd recommend to start with is simply just double down on one brand that you know you can build familiarity with. There's YouTube videos out there that will literally explain how to authenticate a Canada Goose or a Montclair. Like, sometimes you've even got the CLG codes in the jackets now as well for authenticity, but we always like to take, you know, further checks.
The Montclair's the one, like, if you hover your camera over the logo, it like comes up with the link.
But don't always believe that.
Oh, really?
Don't always believe that. No.
Oh, shit.
Sometimes, like, modern day now, you can still get, like...
Well, bro, I don't buy designer shit anymore, but, like, do you remember I only know that because H's auntie worked in Selfridges, and she used to get us a really, really good discount.
Yeah, fire.
And I got a Montclair gilet. I walked into the barbershop once. They were like, oh, all right then, fake gilet. They're like, oh, let's scan it then. Let's scan it.
Oh, and they actually
I didn't even know what that meant. Do you know what I mean? I was like, scan what, bro? And I knew obviously that it's come from Selfridges. But I was like, do whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? And they were scanning it, and nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. I was thinking, 1 minute, am I missing something here? Like, and then something popped up. They were like, oh, nah, you're good. I was like, I knew I was good beforehand, but then I was like, oh shit. And then they told me, like, when that's you kind of hover over it, like, that's real. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah.
So, like, bro,
they're even saying that to you, man.
Yeah, I know, doubting me, bro.
They wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like nowadays, it's actually like, you know, for certain brands, it's really hard to authenticate. Like, you know, we have to go through serious precaution when we're sourcing high ticket goods. Like, even if it's come from a vendor that we've worked with for 3 years, like, we still take precaution, because a lot of the time you don't know if they've middleman the deal.
Yeah.
You know, they could be sourcing from another boutique that we're not aware of.
I mean, it would have been an L if you sold a Birkin and it was fucking.
Anything can happen, bro.
Yeah.
It's a dirty game.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be very careful.
I want to pull back just a couple of seconds, because I feel like a mistake that we made previously, and also a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make, is they don't research enough before putting their time and effort and energy into actually building something. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I would put a lot of your success towards your attention to detail, seeing who the market leader was in your space, reverse engineering what they did. I'm talking about Farfetch now, and that SWOT breakdown that you mentioned. Like, if you're stepping into the industry as a new guy in the game, the reference I always use is, if you're going to create a fast food company, don't try and create a brand new fast food company.
I agree.
Go and have a look at McDonald's and emulate what McDonald's do until you become something, and then you can create your USP, right?
Yeah.
So I would say a lot of your success is because you went at someone, had a look at someone in as much detail as you did, like Farfetch, the CEO, and we're like, right, this is what they do, this is what they do really well, this is what they don't do that well, where we could be a little bit better. This is their, what was the O for? Their
Opportunity.
Their opportunity, and the T was? Threats.
Yeah.
So straight away, you've already got so much fucking data on before you've gone to build anything or actually create your product. So when you create it, it's not going to be bulletproof, because there's always going to be holes in the system that you just have to fill. That's business.
Of course,
But you're already miles ahead as the guy that's just trying to revolutionize the personal shopping game.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with going and having a look at the guy that's doing what you want to do and emulating it as much as fucking possible, and then adding your USP.
Yeah.
But that's working.
Yeah.
So copy what's working, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then be different.
Yeah.
Once you've got a bit of brand awareness and you've got some skin in the game. Sorry, I just wanted to peel it, because as soon as you said it, I was like, it's genius. But so many people try and bend the rules and be like, no, I'm going to do it my way. But more often than not, the guy that's at the top did it his way 5 times and it didn't work. Well, and now it's this way.
Well, the thing is your way might not be what the market wants.
Exactly.
Again, like going back to a mistake that we made is, we were so confused as to where we were going wrong in business, but we kept making products and services that we thought that the market wanted, but no one wanted to fucking pay us because no one actually needed or wanted it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a good indicator of somebody that's killing it in their space is making money from something or having success in something because the market actually needs it.
Yeah. And I think, like, now, for where I'm at, like, based on kind of the intakes from the implementations we've made from what does work well in the market, like, obviously I'm always in that mindset of thinking, like, I'm only at a 1% sort of surface level. And, like, even though we've built some amazing things, like, don't get it twisted, there's certain things where we've spent a lot of money on building, but we're still in deficit. Like, but that's because there's a much bigger goal. Like, just because we've built the foundation of it and it works, well, quote unquote works, to me there's much more potential. So, you know, like, towards the end of the year, we've got some really big plans with, you know, making this more B2B orientated, with, like, a lot of the software we'd like to build and that we have built. You know, like, there's so much more growth room, like, because we know exactly what the market needs. Like, we've done it day in, day out. We know the challenges that go into the sourcing process.
How did you find out what the market needed, though?
Fucking
because
reps,
this is,
bro.
Yeah,
because this is one thing that a lot of people at home won't understand. How do
bro,
you find
like,
out what the market
the
actually
way,
needs?
like, the biggest thing you've got to look at is, like, the biggest path of resistance with, like, how much ad hoc you spend day to day within your, I guess, entrepreneurial day, if that makes sense. Like, what I mean by that is, as a young reseller, right, when I'm 17 to 18, if I know it's so difficult to find and locate one pair of Louis Vuitton trainers, like, imagine how difficult it is for so many other people. And even now, with, like, such an extensive supply chain, there are still objections when it comes to the sourcing process of finding that pair of shoes. So I'm thinking, like, surely there must be a way of centralizing all of this. Like, the way that traditional personal shoppers work is in WhatsApp groups, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's trade groups where it'll have Louis Vuitton 1 to buy and 1 to sell, Dior 1 to buy and 1 to sell. Like, and then there'll be a shit ton of resellers in these groups who will list their product. Vice versa, people who need to request things, you can then pick up sales from these groups from other businesses. So it's like, it's too dinosaur. Like, there must be a better way of being able to connect these vendors into an all-in-one marketplace, which is what now we're doing.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So it's getting there, man. But like, again, you know, it's just trial and error. Like, I can't say that we've not made a lot of failures. I can't say that everything we've tried has run as smoothly as it is. I mean, bro, like, I've built things in the past that we don't even use anymore. Like, so I think
how important is the failure?
it's massive, bro. Because now I actually like ask myself, is it worth the opportunity cost? And also, is there not a secondary solution already out there that exists that could facilitate the need that I desire? So what I mean by that is, like, we was looking for so long for like just this simple CRM tool. Like, it was a little bit more complicated than a standard CRM, right? Very much different to the high ticket space. Not like a GHL. It's very different to that.
I was just about to say, then high level comes about. And
But high level couldn't do this, bro. Like,
What is it that you needed doing?
So like, we needed to build like a CRM where for Morley Trends, obviously we have two ways of making money. Yeah, we have the website for Morley Trends where customers just check out online, purchase a product. That's where we make our money. Vice versa, we have the one-to-one personal shopping team.
Yeah.
So if you've spent a little bit of money with us, like, you would go to someone like Lauren or Alfie or someone in the team, and you'd be like, I'm looking for like a Hermes bag, or I'm looking for a Goyard bag. They'd qualify you and find more info about what product you're looking to buy. We'd then obviously broker the deal, take the payment up front. You know how it goes. And we couldn't find a system where we could track how many leads we were getting and what our true conversion rate was through Instagram DMs, like, and also WhatsApp. So like, say for example, we had an Instagram reel go viral.
It's really hard to track.
Yeah, it's like quite hard, but then like that stat is really important to me because like, you know what works then. So I was thinking, like, whenever we get an Instagram reel that goes viral, like, and we get 200 DMs, 300 DMs from one clip, like, how many of them people actually convert, like, in a 24-hour period?
So the quality of the leads that come through,
Yeah.
based on what video,
Yeah.
how is it scripted, how is it shot.
Yeah.
This one might have got half the views, but we converted 10% more sales off the back of that.
Yeah,
so we'll knuckle down on
exactly,
that.
Yeah. So like, it was more or less also like just seeing the data. So like, rather than us manually inputting it into a Google Sheets, like after every sale, like, we then built a bespoke CRM ourselves where we'd have a search engine for the product specifically. Like, the client's information would pull from Shopify through a webhook, and then when you then move the lead position of the label into one, it would automatically trigger a notification in Shopify with the fulfillment details. So like, we automated like 3 components that were taking like personal shoppers 5 minutes to complete within one button. So it was like, obviously we needed to figure out like how to minimize effectively bullshit things throughout the day, and how we could make better use of our time. Like, I always use the analogy with my team now, right? Anyone who's in a sales-driven role, if they're doing anything other than sales-related tasks, they're wasting their time. Like, they should only double down on anything that's going to bring revenue into the business. For example, if I, let's say, saw Fran, who's leading our customer experience, tapping into, I don't know, like supporting Alfie with the lead on Morley Trends, it's not a job role, bro. Like, that's not what she should be doing.
Yeah.
Like, she's taking time away from doubling down on enhancing our customer experience. Vice versa, if, let's say, Lauren is, you know, supporting Ryan with something, or, you know, like, there's crossovers in the team. I made that mistake for so long of thinking that you could build a team with people being in hybrid roles. Like, when somebody comes on board into a company, and I learned this from a recent hire I made, actually, a girl called Shania. She said to me, she was like, there's too much chaos. There's too much confusion with what people need to achieve within their role, and you can't hold them accountable. If I say to someone, your only role is to be a media buyer, I want a ROAS of X amount, I expect a cost per lead of X amount, this is my cost per call booking target.
They're your KPIs.
They are your simple KPIs. Meet them, and that's all you need to do, right? Like, instead of also getting it to build the back end for the emails and also look into the funnel optimization, and like, it's too broad. So then I had a bit of a restructure, and it's, you know, worked wonders since.
One thing I've noticed about you, and I mentioned it whilst we're on the way here, is we'll use Aviv as an example. You said that he said, this is the only job I've ever had that I get pissed off when I have to go to sleep, so I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And I said that's credit to you and the way you've built your team and the what's the word?
Culture?
The culture, the environment that you've built based on your vision, your plan, your work ethic, etc. We aren't at that stage where we've got a payroll worth thousands every month and a 6, 7, 10, 15 man team, whatever it is. What did you learn about yourself building that team? And also as well, like to somebody that's at that stage where they're ready to start employing, what's some of the lessons that you learned along the way?
So the number one thing, right, and this is what I neglected for so long, just have an honest conversation with yourself as an entrepreneur about like what your biggest weakness is. So like, for example, me, believe it or not, I'm actually really unstructured. Aviva will tell you that as well. Like a lot of the time I'm late to meetings. A lot of the time, like I'll miss small things. Like overall, I'm not an organized person, right? But I knew that about myself. So one of the first hires I made was somebody who came from flannels, who was in a buying position, who I knew was really fucking organized. So I saw that I didn't have that skill, and I basically made sure that I could replace my negative characteristic as an entrepreneur with somebody who could fulfill that. So I think first of all, like you need to have a self-audit check, like understand what you're good at, understand what you're bad at, and work at filling the gaps. I think as far as it goes with like making your first hire, I'd say that the only reason you look into hire is because you need to free up more of your time. Obviously, you're looking to delegate things so that you can focus on the more important.
Guys, quickly, sorry, by the way, we are in the restaurant and they've just opened. No, it's fine. But I just want to say, like, if you can hear stuff in the background, it's because we're in a fully functioning live restaurant right now. We are in a private room, but sorry to interrupt you,
it's
bro.
Cool, bro. It's cool.
Just give them a little bit of context, you know?
Yeah, thank you, bro. But, I think what I did when we made our first hire was a guy called Brad Austin. Now works for one of my friends, actually. Really cool guy. Got a lot of respect for Brad. And
there we go, Aviva legend.
Like in one of my other companies, Resellers Room, which is basically like a supply chain access tool for up and coming personal shoppers and resellers. He was one of the first sales reps we brought in. So what I was thinking back then, alongside bringing Carison, who's in ops, really organized girl, was like, we need someone who's going to hit the repetitions on bringing sales in. So I can step out of sales, being on calls, dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. So I could then focus on sort of the larger vision. And I think a big sort of term that I related to with one of my mentors was that you need to be working on the business and not in it. Like the more time that you're spending on things such as updating a report or sending an email out or, like doing things that don't actually contribute to holistic growth.
Moving the needle.
Yeah, like you have to look at like 3 to 4 decisions daily, which will have the largest impact on revenue possible. So remember, just before we got into this podcast, I rung up Karis to then inform Lily and the media buying team to double our budget on ad spend for these new creatives. Like that was a decision I've been brewing on for a few days now, and I needed to think about. But guess what? Like I'm testing it. I know it's going to have a big impact on revenue for our closing team, like for our educational company.
Yeah.
And that was one decision. Like another one earlier today was looking to expand our sales team with a guy called Dev. Like we need somebody to oversee our team of SDRs because that's where 50% of our cash is being collected in our other company at the moment. Like if there's 50% of cash collected in there and they're all reporting directly back to a sales manager, there needs to be more structure. That sales manager needs a right-hand man to be able to oversee that team and to be in control of auditing dials, understand what's the outreach approach, how many dials is X, Y, and Z SDR done today, and who's the best performing, what do the incentives look like, what's working. So you've got to think also, like when you're starting to build a team, like what support and resource can you give to them in their roles to ensure that they can actually perform. Yeah. So like, for example, Ryan,
to get the best out of
them. So like Ryan, for example, if I'm like, I need 100 grand next month out of you from that company, like, and he's currently pacing at 70 grand a month, like, bro, that's a 35% increase in revenue. Like, what am I going to put in place resource-wise to ensure that we can actually meet that metric? I'm going to get her an appointment setter assigned to another lead source. I'm going to bring in a new paid lead affiliate introducer who's going to contribute to more lead bookings.
Double down your budget.
I'm going to double down on my budget, of course. So they were like 3 core implementations I made like over the last few days. So once you've got your incubator as a team,
the end result's probably going to be an injection of more than 30% as well.
Exactly. But like the thing is, it's like the way you've got to view a team is like that is your incubator. You're making the decisions. You then have your incubator. It's almost like a factory, right? Imagine you own a clothing brand and you pick up a t-shirt from Selfridges. Like, I really like this t-shirt. You buy the t-shirt. You take it to your factory, you give it to your ops manager, you say, I want an exact duplication of this t-shirt. They then handle everything else. They then give it to the people who, look at the fabric. They then put it through to the people who, start cutting out the cloth. And they will put it into the end point of where it needs to be. So what I'm trying to work out now is like, from a decision that I want to make, how can I put it through this incubator, through this ecosystem, to get the outcome that I desire?
So at
in
the end,
shortest
comes out
period
whatever you
possible.
want, yeah.
And speed is also a big thing. How fast you can go to market and test will determine your success. So what I mean by that is, imagine I have an idea, right? And I'm thinking, first of all, how much of a benefit does this idea have to my current ecosystem? Am I diversifying? Am I penetrating my existing audience? Is it out of the ordinary? Like, weigh that up first. Once you've come to that decision, a great example would be, for you guys, right? You've just launched a new offer. Before you launched that new offer, you could have set up a landing page with a VSL, and made out as if the offer was live now and built up a wait list to get an interest check to give you confidence in the offer that you was building. Mm-hmm. So for example, for us, it's like, if someone in the team suggests to try something, I'll take that feedback. I'll be like, you know what, let me think on it a few days. Yep, let me test it, and this is how I want to test it. What does the data show?
Yeah.
What does that show about?
Data's king.
Yeah.
We'll go back to what we said earlier as well. Your way might not be the right way.
Yeah.
But the data's way is always the right way.
Exactly.
Because whatever the data favors is going to fucking work. You don't have the data unless you test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bro, back to what I was saying about speed as well, right?
The quicker you test, the quicker you get the data, the quicker you can make the moves, the quicker you get the results.
Yeah, and as well, it's that analogy. I always refer this to the team, right? Imagine if you picture a plane taking off the runway, right? It requires so much speed to take off, and then when it's in the air, it has to retain that level of speed to stay afloat. But the moment this plane starts slowing down, what happens? The plane starts to drop. So the whole point is you always have to retain that momentum.
What?
If that makes sense?
No, the analogy makes sense, but I mean, if the plane slows down, it won't start to drop. It'll just move slower.
Well, it'll move slower. Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. But
it won't come back down.
If you all of a
unless
sudden,
they fucking.
If you all of a sudden turned off the gas, right?
Yeah.
Bro, the plane is gonna go.
It will glide for a while, but it's not.
Depends on the speed. But
yeah. Well, I think
what about the people that can't cash inject? People that are
Great question.
you 5 years ago. How do they get the data to understand what's going to work for their business or how to make the right decisions?
You made him fucking think now.
Start slow, test small, and do it on a low budget. So what?
But with something like ads, though, just to play
Same principle.
but to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
With something like ads, if you've got a low budget and you can't leave the testing phase, it just restarts. It's like, how's that?
If you're spending 500 quid a day and someone's spending 50, you're going to get results and data a lot quicker than the person that's spending 50. So their testing process is going to take longer than your testing process for them to get the data to retest and actually finish on their product. So what H is trying to say is if you can't get results and data quickly based on your current situation, what's the quickest way to get the data so that you can make the right decisions to get the move?
I think in hindsight, which I thought about now, competitor analysis. So if someone is spending £500 a day,
what are they spending it on?
What are they spending that budget on?
Because it's obviously
and also
working.
build curiosity and what I used to do, right? I remember when we was going through a sprint phase where we was improving the UX UI of our front end on our website.
The what, sorry?
UX UI, so it's user interface, user experience. So
I said this to you the other day, and you were like, "Oh, fancy terms." When did I say it to you?
No, you said the user interface.
We're talking about what versus.
You're like,
school
the UI is so much nicer on what.
Yeah,
I was like, you fucking what, bro? Just tell me it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But we was thinking we don't want to pay the budgets that these agencies are looking to invoice us for. We spoke to 5 agencies, right? And what we then did is we then got them to order our front end. And they put us a massive Google Sheets together, right? Every single thing we needed to change. And they did that completely for free. So, speak to the experts. If you're looking to, scale up an e-com store or scale up a high-ticket offer, speak to the best, lead generator in the game for that niche. It's free to have a call with them. Record the call on Fathom. After that, ask them to put a proposal forward and ask the person as well on the call, their job is to sell you. Their job is to provide value on that call to make sure that you make the right decision in working with that agency. Like, you can ask freely, how do I increase my email marketing open rate from 35% to 45%?
Yeah.
This is what we're doing at the moment. This is what a Klaviyo
Just
looks like.
don't do that with us, because you're going to waste our time on sales calls.
Yeah.
Imagine all of our next, we book in 15 calls after this, and it's like, yeah, so Chris, how am I going to, fuck you, bro, fuck you, Jack. But close rate goes down.
Close rate goes down. But bro, like, you know, it's free to inquire. You're going to get proposals back. And if you have 5 of them, subject to whatever component
you're going to take some
improve in
value.
your business, you're going to take value, and
Yeah.
you're getting it from somebody who
It's a valid point.
lives and breathes it every single day.
Do you know what I was like in my head? What I thought was a good response, to be honest with you. If somebody doesn't have the budget to go and get fast data from things like ads, or they don't have the team to go and get it, it's just to do things manually yourself. Because before you can actually afford to go and work on the business, like you spoke about, you have to do a lot of the jobs yourself.
Yeah.
And if it's getting customer data or data from leads, and you can't afford to go and spend money on ads, you have the time to allocate maybe 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day to go and send 100 DMs a day or 60
for
DMs
sure.
a day, and across a month,
Yeah.
you're going to then have data where you can actually make an analytic decision. So
Yeah.
it's time really that it could take as well.
Yeah.
It's another angle that somebody could think about.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, truthfully, boys, like, I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo, by the way, on how to build an ad. Just to put that out there. Like, I purposely don't want to learn. Like, same again with, like, the software that we built. I can tell you what it's built on, like the language, but I couldn't give you a Scooby on, like, the back-end technicality of it.
Yeah.
Same again with, like, our funnels. I don't even know what funnel, like, I don't even know what our funnels are built on, but I want to purposely ensure that I stay in that position where I just see it on the front end perspective. I know what the customer's going to experience. The back end to me doesn't matter. Like, as long as it's working,
As long as it does its job.
and it's generating money, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Let the guys let your A players be A players.
Yeah. And this is another thing as well, actually, I want to make a point on, right? And I've only just discovered this quite recently with, like, friends in other companies who are running much larger entities than I am, right? Like, one A player can lap 3 C players. So even let's say,
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Chris said something pretty similar to that the other day.
yeah. So, like, what it made me realize is I've got a friend, right, who owns a fintech company. He was pacing at like 5 million a year, bought in the COO, like 3x, like within 18 months of this person going into this role. And that was because he got rid of 3 C players that he was paying 40 grand a year to, and bought in an absolute killer on 120k a year.
Well, look at Musk with Twitter. He came in, literally got rid of like 80% of the employees, and just created this absolute monster of a social media.
And I think that, like, I've kind of accepted now, as difficult as it is, like, the team that you're playing with to make, let's say, like $1 million a year is not going to be the same people that you work with to build a 10 million a year empire. So it's like also having the ability to spot talent early. I think that's what I'm trying to learn a lot more of now. Like, even though you might come across somebody who is a entrepreneur, they are a freelancer, like, as long as you can get them aligned with the vision of your company, and it is worth their while, like, you can still bring in great people who you thought was only going to work on themselves. Like, a great example, I've got a guy called Adam who owns a company called Cryptonary. It's the largest crypto platform in the world. Great entrepreneur. Like, I've seen this guy, bro. He's like a wizard. I have seen this guy take A players who were previously entrepreneurs and engrave them into his culture to be so tunnel visioned.
That's what WAP did.
On growing this company. It's exactly what
Bro,
WAP did.
people were leaving 100k a month businesses to go and work at WAP.
Do you want to know something fucking crazy though?
Fucking go on then.
WAP. I was speaking to somebody at WAP. The wage at WAP for the guys that try and get you on the platform, like we spoke to the other day.
Yeah.
The wage is $135,000 a year starting, and then the goal for bonuses is $300k a year. That is like ridiculous. Like, if you have an online business, and apparently you can work this alongside running a business as well, like working that role.
It's gonna be tough though.
No. Like, apparently that's kind of like what it's for. To be honest with you, the convo started from speaking to our mentor the other day.
We need to go get a fucking job at WAP,
Yeah,
mate.
should we fucking run the wrong industry, boys?
Fucking
You
sell
have
up and
to,
go WAP.
the way that you got the jobs at WAP. Listen, don't hold me to it. This has come from somebody else.
Yeah.
But he got offered a job there apparently. So when you earn 3k in a month and they'd fly you out, or then it went to 10k and then 30k. Like, if you won that, I don't know what they name it, but if you won that and you weren't the amount that you're supposed to, you'd get an email saying, like, come and work at WAP for a role. You can do it alongside growing your business or your info products.
But
or whatever
why
it
though?
is.
What you've just said. A players who are doing it on their own to come in and be A players on the larger mission, and incentivize them financially and still allow them to have their freedom while still building their own thing.
It's true.
Like, listen, you come and you get a massive injection from one of the biggest guys in the info space, in the entrepreneurial space. You can make big, bold moves.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that nobody knew who the fuck what was 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Pay to play.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's like, yeah, and you know what? Like a lot of these new upcoming businesses like have backed a shit ton of funding, like a ridiculous amount. Like to get funding now in a startup, it's a lot easier than what it was like 5 years ago. And like one skill that I want to pick up on as I'm growing within my entrepreneurial journey is like how to raise millions to go all in with the project. Because I've raised before. I've raised like $500,000 before.
I don't have any experience in it. I don't have any experience in it, but I already know that you'd be good at it.
Yeah.
Because I believe you when you speak.
Yeah. So I think like, and the thing is, it's like, then you're talking on the cases of equity stakes, right? And are you prepared to sacrifice, you know, a small portion of the pie to build something great much faster? Like to me, like long term, I'd much rather like back a little bit of capital from a VC and do it 10 times quicker.
My dad always said to
your
me,
network as well.
Yeah, my dad always said to me, would you rather have the whole small pizza to yourself, or would you rather have 80% of the large pizza?
Yeah.
You have more pizza if you have 80% of the large one.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
You eat more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your belly's more full, and you can look at that in a business standpoint as well.
Yeah. And I think, do you know another thing that like really helped me as well? It was being positioned around like other companies, even in my office, right? I was saying to you boys earlier, like my business partner who walked down the corridor does $1 million a month in profit. Like being surrounded by other A players who are in a much more better position than you are, like will accelerate your growth more than anything else, because it'll make you realize like how much of a dork you are. Like I tell myself every day, like, bro, I'm nowhere near where I need to be yet. Like I believe that I have so much more, like I've got so much more capability. And I think my problem is that I overcomplicate things.
I also think, though, at the same time as that, it's great to always look to what's next. And to be a good entrepreneur, you have to think like that. You know, you have to always say, right, I need to do more, I need to do better, I need to be more like that, I need to do whatever. But also, I was speaking to you before off camera about my girlfriend and how good she is for me. We just spent a week in Positano a couple of weeks ago. And she literally said to me, like, because I was having a bit of a rough day. It happens, you know. A couple of things don't go your way. Mood was down, whatever. It was actually raining. We're on the Amalfi Coast and it's pissing it down. I was pissed off.
Yeah, you know, I get it, bro.
And she goes to me, it's not all that bad. Think about this time last year. If you'd have done the amount of trips that you've done so far this year, running the offer that you're running right now, be in the place where you're at right now, how would you feel last year? And then even more so than that, how would you feel your 15-year-old self Jack in his mum's bathroom?
Yeah.
You would look at you now and think
And you
you're a
dream of
fucking
that.
rock star, bro.
Yeah.
You would think you're a fucking rock star. And
That's true,
it's
man.
always really, really important, not only to like keep you grounded and keep you humble, but also to show gratitude for the journey, because you'll get to that next step and that next step and that next step, and all of a sudden you blink and you're 50. You're a centimillionaire, and you'll give all of your fucking net worth to be 25 again and be back in the trenches.
Yeah.
Be back in the building
Yeah.
phase. And we've heard it over and over and over again from these mega successful entrepreneurs, that I would give you everything that I'm worth for your health and for your position right now, to build again, to be as fit as you are now, to wake up without any pain, you know? So as much as we want to look forward as entrepreneurs, and we always want to be like, what's next? I also think
Enjoy
it's
the moment.
important to be like, fuck, I'm doing it, you know? We said earlier about the podcast. On episode 1, if we'd have said we're doing episode 133 in this restaurant in Manchester, talking about the things that we're talking about here, we'd think, fuck yeah, you know? But we're looking at, well, when are we going to hit 10k subs? But you also look at, when you're at 0, when are we going to hit 1k subs? It's important to sometimes just check yourself and be like, you know what? I am where I am.
I agree with that, bro. I agree with that. I think
And if you are, sorry, bro, just if you are listening at home, you can help us along our journey to 10k subs, and you can hit
that fucking subscribe button. Make sure
the boys, like these boys are actual legends as well. Like the second they came into the office, they gave us nothing but positivity, and they deserve the most.
Same goes as well, genuinely.
Yeah. Thanks, boys.
I appreciate it.
We've met a lot of guys, especially having the pod. Like our network is open to so many guys that are in similar spaces to us, the online space, making a shitload of money. Genuinely, like the energy that I get from you is really, really fucking good. From the
thanks, bro.
The wavelengths that I get from everybody else. Genuinely,
I can second that as well, bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
That's what I said to you. When you speak, I believe it.
Yeah, and you guys as well.
I respect the level of detail that you go into.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, I mean, for the guys at home, I can't think whether it was in the vlog or not, but in your boardroom / office, just the data everywhere, everything written all over the walls and stuff like that, and how passionate you are about it. It's really, really refreshing and inspiring to see that. Genuinely.
Thank you as well, boys.
Also, to second my point of what I just said about looking back, again, I can't quite remember if we captured it or not, but you were saying, can I give educational? Can I do this? I can't do that. Bro, you can, bro. Look back on the last literally an hour of you spitting sauce about your industry.
Yeah.
Because you're not at XYZ doesn't mean that you're at DEFG HIJK. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think what it is for me is like, in all honesty, I just feel like there's also like a lot of other areas in my life where like I kind of need to I guess like grow as a human. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
is that not life though?
Outside of business, you know, like I feel like there's you know, like I want to be able to inspire people on an entrepreneurial basis, but like also emotionally. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want everyone to feel like you only see like the success and the loom and gloom of like business, because it like actually is really stressful. Like, bro, I have some days as well where I'll literally sit on my sofa for an hour, I won't do anything. I'll just sit there and think, because I'm like quite overwhelmed. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's also like a lot of bad sides to entrepreneurship, and I feel like the way that I've kind of projected my content and all of the nice things that I've been presented don't really represent me, like, because a lot of the time we'll only speak about our wins.
Yeah.
And I think like,
well, that's what I said, 90% of the time, like, we're getting kicked in the dick, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys can relate to that as well. Like, there'll be times, bro, and days where...
Don't worry, it's more than 90%, bro.
Like, bro, there'll be days where you wake up in the morning and you're like, yo, I cannot be fucked with this. But you have to just push through it. The days where you don't want to turn up and you turn up are the days that matter the most.
Our job's to show up, bro.
Yeah, you just got to show up. Every single day, and it's repetition.
I saw something, you know.
It's better to be consistently good than occasionally great. It's one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah.
Slaps.
Yeah, that's fire, bro.
My boy's spitting.
Yeah, that's fire.
It's not my quote. I mean, I'll tell.
Claim it, bro.
No, it's not mine.
But I was gonna say I saw something. It was like, you're stressed over the job that one day you prayed for.
Yeah.
You know, you're overwhelmed by the growth that one day you prayed for, and like, yeah, you're sat on your sofa and you're stressed and you're overwhelmed and you sat there and you're doing nothing. But again, let's revert back to Jack in his mum's bathroom. You were praying and wishing, and everything that you did every single day was to get to the stage where you felt overwhelmed about those types of problems.
Bro, I used to cry on the phone to my mum, bro, when I used to be at work. You know, I used to say to my mum, I was like, Mum, I really, really hate this job. Like, because I was doing a degree apprenticeship at Morrison's. When I first started reselling, I was working full time, and then I was also doing a degree at university. So it was like privately funded for the degree. And I was like, I've signed myself into this contract now for 3 years. I'm starting to see success after 6 months, bro. I remember sitting in my car to my mum. I was like, Mum, like, I can't do it. I was like, I hate the people in here. It's not aligned with my goals. I know what my passion is, and I'm just not near where I need to be. And I'd used to tell my mum all the time, like every other week, bro, I'd be like, Mum, I think next week's the week. It never used to be the week. It just kept going on and on. But eventually it came. And I think if you see it here, you speak it, you smell it, you feel it, you know, like, I'm a big believer in the power of the mind. I think the mind is more powerful than anyone ever projects. You know, like, I see everything years before. Like, I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's like when we made that video in the office, and I tried to document it as much as I can now. I feel like every single time you say something and you rehearse it in your mind continuously, you know, like, you're positively reinforcing a prophecy. And I don't know if you've heard of self-fulfilling prophecy before, right? You know, in school, right? Say, for example, there was a normal child, and the child wasn't overweight, but then started eating a little bit more, put on a tiny bit of weight, and then other kids in the school then started bullying this child and started calling the child fat. the reason the child actually gets fat is because they've negatively reinforced this label and association with that stigma.
So it's fat, so I'm going to eat like a fat person. I'm not going to exercise.
It's true,
I'm not
bro.
Gonna...
It's so true. And the way that you talk to yourself is very important. Like, and I used to beat myself up a lot. Like, the way I'd speak to myself was like I was bullying myself. Like, I wasn't being kind.
Yeah.
Like, but now I tell myself, like, no, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry. I realign myself.
It's the delusion, bro. Well, I mean, we've had it very recently where, like, me and Hedge are very good. And I think a beautiful thing about our partnership and our relationship is that there's always going to be a time where somebody's here and somebody's here. And your job when you're here is to go,
100%.
come on, bro.
Yeah.
And vice versa,
Yeah.
right? And that delusional mindset of, it's not working, but it's going to fucking work.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's going to fucking work. Yeah, sorry, fellas. Had a bit of a technical issue. One of the cameras went out. But to circle back to my point, sometimes the determining factor of something working, something not quite working out, and actually working out is that self-delusion. Like I mentioned to you, the number we're going to hit after the first month of launching this new offer, right? There's no real data to say that we're going to hit it. But I have mentally convinced myself and said it to the team and said it to our mentor, and I fucking said it to you, and now I'm saying it on here.
I think you'll do more than it, bro. I genuinely, we'll watch this back, but I think you will exceed that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no, I genuinely think you will.
yeah, and what we've got 10 days. I think we're there. But like I'm saying, you can go into the month with the mindset of, oh, is this new offer going to work? Are we going to actually get somebody over the line? What happens if we get somebody over the line and the service isn't good? Or it's, we're going to fucking do this. And when we do it, not if we do it, when we do it, we're going to fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's just that switch in the mentality.
Yeah.
And then McGregor's very famous for saying it. If you can see it and you have the courage to speak it, it will, you know what I'm saying?
That was good.
It will happen. Thank you.
That was good, bro. He's good at accents. Bro, he's done it a few times, bro. You know?
What?
He spoke in like a different accent, and he's really brought out that charisma.
I'm actually quite good at accents. But what other accent did I do?
No, bro, you did something
I did
earlier.
up north.
No, you did
Up
up north,
Sheffield,
and then you did something else. You did do something else. Oh no, you obviously spoke Greek. Obviously.
Oh yeah.
But that's
my
standard,
accent.
you know.
I'm trying to think now. I can't think. But yeah, low-key flex. But yeah, man, I feel like we could fucking speak forever, bro.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I'm getting a little bit hungry.
Yeah,
and we've got a long journey home as well. So I want to round this off by speaking on behalf of me and H, bro. Like, it's been a pleasure to chop it up with you. We're really grateful for having us down, for sorting all of this stuff out.
Pleasure, man.
Introducing us to the team, to Aviv, my brother.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, bro, like, I'm really happy that we've had this conversation, that we've made this connection. And like, here's to the next one, bro.
Bro, for sure, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Been a pleasure,
and you
bro.
as well, bro.
Genuinely.
Thank you so much. Like, I can't wait to see your guys' journey, especially now I know kind of where you're at now, and you know, like what you're looking to achieve.
Yeah.
Anything I can do personally to help you both, like, you know, off camera as well. Like, this doesn't need to be in, but like,
I mean, a couple hundred grand would be great.
But yeah, like, and do you know what?
Speaking about raising capital,
Bro, do you know what? Like, I just thinking now, I think what we should do is a great exercise. Now you're going into the realm of like your high ticket, you know, like done for you offer.
Done with you.
Yeah, done with you. There's like so many things that we can go over, like off camera, that I will tell you transparently, like where do we collect from, what works for our company, and like the great thing about when it comes to networking with other entrepreneurs is that something that I've implemented in my business is evergreen for your company.
yeah.
So you'll be able to pick things up, and there's like a lot of things I've thought of just whilst I've been on camera now, like where I think you'll be able to hit and exceed that target. So we'll go through it after.
But listen, guys, if that in itself doesn't tell you what kind of a dude this is, I mean, I don't know what will. So
Yes,
it's been a pleasure.
I mean, look,
bro.
as well, guys, like anyone who, you know, just drop me a direct message on Instagram, like I'll try my best to reply to people. Like, I want to help people. I want to, you know, like just let you all know that there is more to life than, you know, your realm of reality. So, yeah.
Quickly, we haven't done it once, but just plug your info biz, your socials,
Yeah.
the other biz, and
Yeah.
everything that you've got going on, just
Cool.
plug it. We'll have the links in the description
Thank you.
as well, so everybody can
We've
reach
got my
you.
personal Instagram, which is JackE1Y. We've got my YouTube, which is JackEly3. We've got obviously our commercial brands, Morley Trends, Morely Trends. You know, if you do want to shop for this high-end luxury drip, you know where to come to now. And then we also have Resellers Room, which is our supply chain tool for, you know, upcoming personal shoppers and resellers. So yeah, guys, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, boys. And
It's
yeah,
been a pleasure having you.
Vamos.
I look forward to it.
To all of you guys listening on Spotify, make sure to drop us a follow and leave us a rating if you haven't already. And if you're on YouTube, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn the bell notification on so you get notified every time we release a podcast. And we see you motherfuckers next week.
Let's fucking go.
Keep smiling, everyone. Love.
Peace.